Hello Aquarius, welcome to your weekly tarot reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is for the week of January 15th through 21st. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share the video if you don't mind. It will really help us out in the algorithm. Now we're going to take a look into your general energies for the week. It's very important that you remain open and receptive to whatever might come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. I can read the energy that comes through, but I can't always make sense of every detail. Very often, that final step is up to you. So we've got a 5 of discs to begin today. Let's put that into some context, all right? Definitely some things in the physical realm are shifting, right? They're starting to kind of move and transition. I think it's going to be a fantastic opportunity, though, to be honest with you. Just looking at these cards as they come out, I can't wait to get that overhead camera so you all can see as I take these cards out, just the kind of vibe that it gets, just like right off the bat, you know, it feels like a pretty good vibe. We're going to do our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. I want to use the Antique Anatomy Tarot deck. This is one of my favorite new decks that I just recently got. It's not even broken in yet. It is pre-shuffled, but we're just going to take a card somewhere from the middle here, and we're going to leave that right over there. We're not going to look at it till the very end of the reading, and hopefully that will tie everything together and give us the confirmation that we're looking for at the very end, okay? So we've got some air, some major, some water, some air, a lot of major, fire, earth, and air, so a pretty good balance of cards, I would say. What came out at the very beginning was the shifting sands beneath our feet, right? This card typically talks about physical anxiety, right? A worry about financial things, a worry about job security, about health perhaps, but this kind of anxiety that we really feel in our bodies. You know, it's because the sands are shifting. I was going to say the shands. The sands are shifting around us, right? The ground feels a little unstable. Things are moving, okay? Things are changing. Things are transitioning. That's not always a bad thing, okay? But whether it's positive or negative, whether it has good results or, you know, bad results, we're going to feel it in our physical bodies. That worry is going to manifest, okay? And that's going to be that physical anxiety, which I think you're feeling right now. I'm getting a vibe of that, not only from this card, but just in general. I think there's some uncertainty going on. However, what crosses that anxiety today or this week, really, right now at this moment, is this Eon card, this Judgment card, rebirth, reawakening, this baptism by fire, this doorway, this portal to a really amazing opportunity and amazing future. I think it's going to be pretty great. I think what you're feeling now is this excitement, this anxiety, this worry, for sure, because things are shifting, because you're approaching this doorway. And this, I like to describe this as like a flaming doorway, right? Or a portal that is on fire. It's kind of that final hoop that's on fire that you have to jump through, you know? And I think you're going to do this. I think it's going to be a bit of an obstacle, a challenge, let's say. It's going to be maybe slightly unpleasant. It's going to be hot and intense. But I think the results are going to be so amazing for you. Okay, and it really is going to change. It's going to change your complete future. I think the path that you're on is really going to either open up and blossom before you, or you're going to see that this is like kind of a detour that is really the more direct route to your destination, okay? It's going to be something that is really going to shut the door on whatever came before this. So looking at this past card, recent past, we see this court card, air sign. This is the Queen of Swords. Now, this could be another person in your past. I think this is kind of an old version of you that you're leaving behind, honestly. I think you're kind of shedding your skin in a way. And it's through this fire, it's through this anxiety. I think the anxiety, the worry that you feel now is your skin shedding, right? You're kind of molting, I guess. Yeah, I'm getting the feeling like you, in the recent past, were very much how to put this, very much lived in your reason, in your intellect, in your mind, in your maybe kind of left logical brain, so to speak. I feel like you were just trying to look at the facts, you tried to be objective, you tried to be rather detached from things, which is the vibe that we get from this Queen of Swords, okay? Very analytical, very matter of fact, very kind of, you know, shirt and tie, serious, right? But I feel like you're kind of shifting out of that a little bit, right? You're trying to incorporate different sides of yourself, not just the serious suit and tie kind of vibe, the professional vibe, the objective, maybe the left brain logical, the more rational vibe. Okay, I think you're starting to embrace the irrational. You're starting to embrace, you know, what they call, I don't like it, but the right brain, left brain kind of thing. I don't think it works that way. But it's symbolic, you know, the creative part of you. The more energetic, I can't say that word today, the more subtle, the more in tune with things that are unseen or things that are unknowable by the mind, right? Things that you can't dissect and analyze, the intuitive energies. So I think we're kind of shedding this old, logical, very professional, very serious kind of skin. Okay, not completely. I think more than a shedding of a skin, you're maybe taking on some more of that energy. You're trying to incorporate more, okay? And I see that's a very big deal in your life right now because I think it's leading to these really great opportunities. It's leading to this really hot, really intense doorway. It feels like it's like you're in a cathedral or a huge hall, and the final doorway is just grand and ornate and literally huge, right? Maybe hundreds of feet tall, this doorway. And it's really kind of a scary thing to go through this. It's really, you know it's going to be excellent on the other side, you know, but it feels intense and it kind of gives you the nerves. Right? And that's why I feel like we see this Five of Pentacles here. The Five of Pentacles is also telling me that there are some more physical, practical things that are shifting around. Maybe you are having to transition yourself from one place to another. Maybe it's like, maybe you're moving, maybe you're transitioning jobs or roles in the company that you work for. Maybe you're transitioning into a new type of lifestyle or a new purpose, a new path. You're coming into something that's very new, and it's causing changes in the physical realm. Okay, and I don't know exactly what those are. Maybe you'll leave me some comments and let me know how this is manifesting for you, particularly because this is, you know, more of a general reading. So I can see this energy, but I don't always know your particular situation to every last detail. You know, but I feel like the cards are always right in any tarot reading. I don't care who you are. When you pull a tarot card, that's the one you're meant to see. Okay. So I think that's what's going on this week. Okay, and it's we're having to process through this anxiety, this feeling of worry, this just the uncertainty that's going on right now. The way things are changing and shifting, just giving us the nerves. Okay, but in the immediate future, I see a nice, wonderful, terrific balance with the Adjustment or Justice card. This is some of that really calm, peaceful, but, you know, still serious and professional. That's why I kind of changed my thinking here, where I don't feel like you were shedding that skin. I think you were adding to it, right? I think that you were just transforming it, just incorporating more energy into it, to just grow it in a kind of a new direction. You know, I don't think you're changing yourself or getting rid of anything. I think you're adding on, you know. And I feel like the immediate future is going to be a very lucrative relationship with whatever this new path is. If this is a new company that you're going for, a new relationship that you're in, it could be romantic. Okay, it could be. If it's a new path, a new creative endeavor, a new business, a new job, a new spiritual path, some spiritual work, whatever is through this doorway for you right now is going to be a very fair and balanced match. Okay, you're going to receive exactly the quality and quantity that you put into it. It's going to be very balanced. Okay. Now, this isn't to say that the scales won't sometimes fluctuate, right? People see the adjustment card or justice here, and they think everything's going to be fair, everything's going to be equal. It's not about equal. It's about equivalent. Okay. So this isn't about everybody having to be exactly the same, but it's about the complementary energy, right? If you're too heavy in one area, you've got to add more to the other area to try to balance things out a little bit. And the same with your any associations that you have, any experiences that you have, any connection that you have with anyone, anything, with any aspect of the universe, with any point of energy. Okay. So this is really it's really about complementing your nature, and that's why we go back to the shedding of the skin thing. I don't think you're shedding your old skin so much as you are taking in the energy that's going to complement that, right? If you're too heavy in one area, you got to add more to the other to balance things out. Okay, and in a practical sense, this is definitely a very lucrative association with someone. Okay, and I'm feeling like it's a new job, new contract, new business deal, something in the career or work realm is the vibe that I'm getting. But whatever it is, whatever realm of your life it's taking place, there's this definite bond, commitment, connection, almost like a legal agreement. Okay, so this is something that you're definitely investing in, and you're expecting a return. And I think that applies, or it could apply to any realm of life: personal, professional, romantic relationship, platonic relationships, or a spiritual journey that you're on. Okay. However, above everything, we see this Hierophant card. And this could definitely have more than one meaning. It could be very hermetic in a sense. It could be your spiritual guide, your spiritual teacher. Okay, this could be your higher self, higher soul, guardian angel. That could be the focus of all of this, right? Trying to get closer to this entity, this reality, this divine guide or teacher, your spiritual guide, whatever you want to call it. It could be that you are looking to this figure, this energy, this entity for guidance, to commune more, to have more of a connection with this kind of divinity. Okay, and now we're getting a little mystical, a little philosophical, but to bring it back down to the practical level, this is your ideal association with this larger power. Okay, so this could be a school, university, could be a company, a business, a career path. It could be a community organization. It's a larger power, something greater than you. The larger community, the neighborhood, a church, an order, a lodge, a temple, whatever it might be. Okay. And this, I think, is what you're aspiring to, this kind of connection with. A larger group of people. It could be a larger circle of friends. It could be, whatever it is, the new department at work that you've been promoted into or put in charge of, something. But it's a larger power. And you're trying to forge this link with it. Okay. And we have these major arcana cards. So these are telling me, these three particularly, are telling me that this not only has the practical, mundane, physical, kind of day-to-day manifested component to it, or meaning, or layer, but it has a spiritual layer too. These cards operate on every level of our being simultaneously, very heavyweight, cosmic kind of energy. The smaller cards here, they kind of just say what's going on a little bit more subjectively, or the things that you have to deal with on the day-to-day. But these are the forces involved. And I think these are operating on the spiritual level and on the practical, mundane, so-called mundane level. So we have to think about it in terms of your spiritual journey overall and your practical day-to-day events, the way this spiritual journey is taking form. Okay. So I think that you are trying to forge the link both with your own spirit and soul, with your own divinity, and you're through that effort, in a symbolic fashion almost, you're trying to forge this connection with this larger group, whatever it may be. It could just be, like I said, a circle of friends, could be a book club, could be whatever. It's in some ways it's unimportant how it's manifesting, because I think it's going to manifest differently for everyone watching this reading. You know, there might be some overlap, some similarities, sure, but we're all unique. You know, we're all one of a kind. So we got to the Hierophant. Beneath the surface, we have this really strong fire energy, 3 of Wands here. This is really the potential that you have for all of your creative endeavors. This is really the fuel, the inner flame that is pushing all of this along, right? That is your motivation to do this. This is kind of that heat and intensity that, you know, if you can build it up enough within you, then you're not going to really feel the heat of this so much. So this is courage on the one hand. This is your own inner flame, trying to match as much as you can what's going on in the spiritual and in the physical realms, so that you don't feel this heat and this intensity, you know, too severely when we go through this doorway, right? So you're kind of having to match the intensity a little bit. So this is that kind of courage, that bravery, that inner fire that we need to keep going, to fuel us, to motivate us, you know, to go through this, rather uncertain period, this rather kind of nervous, anxious feeling that we have at the moment. And this is your purpose. This is your self-respect, your own code of ethics and morals. And, you know, I think that this is a very important part of you. I think it's something that you definitely take seriously. This is your connection with your spirit, right? This is the divine spark within you. However you want to talk about this, there are so many different ways to say this, you know. But you're very much in touch with this. And this is the fire in which you're going to forge your connections to this greater divinity, to this this larger power, whatever we're talking about exactly, right? So you definitely have this fire within you, and this, again, this is your courage and your motivation to keep going and to keep doing this and to push you forward despite your fear and your anxiety, you know. So let's move over to the Path of the Serpent now, but I just want to emphasize again that these cards are always right. You can never draw an incorrect tarot card. You know, I think that's the greatest myth, that, oh, I misshuffled, I mishandled, I misdealt, and now this card's all wrong. No, whatever comes out is what you're meant to see, you know. And as the interpreter, as the messenger, I don't know your particular details. You know, I don't know all of the exact circumstances for all of you. So just try to connect directly with these cards. Use your own intuition. Go beyond what I'm telling you. Okay? All right. Now, general energy. So while we have this courage and this motivation and this fire to match the fire, right? We're trying to be equal to the challenge, right? We've also got a 3 of Swords as your general energy. I think that this is kind of, you know, we've got a 3 of Wands and a 3 of Swords, and the fire and the air are good friends. They get along pretty well, okay? So they kind of strengthen each other. And I think what's going on here is the way that you're developing this fire energy, this courage, this bravery, is by remembering those instances of the past where you really excelled, where you really had this fiery spiritual connection. And it's almost like you feel that that you were external, that you were outside of your body, that you were watching somebody else do this. I don't know what kind of experiences you've had in your past, but I feel like you've probably had at least one very intense moment where you had to act with tremendous courage and bravery and spontaneity, and you had to just not think and just act. And then when you looked back on it, and even now probably when you look back on it, you think, God, that was me? Like, it seems like someone else, or it seems like a dream. I think that remembering these kinds of experiences, remember kind of what it felt like, if you can tap into that more subtle fire, what it felt like when you were in those moments of intense, danger or anxiety, when you acted with such bravery, right? You have to recreate those feelings, those memories in your mind with this Three of Swords. I think this is your general energy now, right? I think this is what you maybe already are using to build up yourself now, build up the confidence and the courage to meet this current challenge. And that's by just remembering that, look, you've been in similar situations before. This is how you acted. This is how you felt. This is how it went down. And that's given you the confidence that you need, right? The next card that we see is in terms of your relationships or the environment that you're in right now. This is the one card that kind of hinted to me that maybe this is some kind of romantic thing. I still don't think it is. I'm not getting a strong feeling of love or romance here. But there is a deep personal connection with someone. And it might be a water sign person. I think there's a lot of water in your environment, whether it's one particular water sign person or if it's just a general collective of this real support. I feel like you're really in a nurturing environment. It feels like almost like you're in an incubation room or like a womb or something, where there's just a lot of this intense support and nurturing that you're kind of feeding on, and it's like it's preparing you for this next phase, this next portal doorway, this baptism by fire, right? This really intense doorway that's in front of us. I almost expect to see a death card here somewhere, because this card is giving me the vibe of like a rebirth that's about to happen, okay? But I don't think it's so much a rebirth. I don't think it's a death card kind of rebirth, because I don't see any destruction or tearing down. I thought maybe that's where we were going with the shedding of the skin with the recent past, but now I don't think that was the case. I think it's more of a building up. And the building up is, you're being tested with the fire, but this is a building up. This is a construction, right? And I think that's what we see around you, is this very nurturing, very warm and supportive environment. Okay, very understanding and empathic, very compassionate and supportive, nurturing, loving. Right? A lot of people around you like that. There might be one particular water sign person that you're thinking of now that is primarily this kind of energy. I feel like it's all around you. I feel like there's a sphere of this warm water energy around you. Okay? And use that. Definitely embrace that, The next card that we see is some more fire energy. And this is the Temperance card, the Art card. This is in the position of your fears, worries, and concerns. Okay? And we said at the beginning, and I said it a couple of times, about the shedding of the skin, how I didn't think that was the right terminology, the right phrase. I feel more like it's a building up. And with this Art card, this is kind of exactly that. It's a trying to artfully, right, blend together your left brain, right brain, air quotes, your thinking and your feeling, your extroversion and your introversion, and it's trying to find the proper balance or blending in this kind of artistic way. You're trying to maybe temper what is too extreme, build up what is lacking in you, right? It's very Taoist in that way. And that is also quite similar to this Justice or Adjustment card. Okay? And one is just a little bit more left brain, one is a little bit more right brain. So one is maybe your intellectual work at doing this, trying to logically think about, balancing things and the whole adjustment and the whole building up what's lacking and tempering what might be too extreme. And then there's, of course, the other side of that, the more creative side, the more artistic part of you that is really, doing the same thing, but these two work together. This kind of is left brain, right brain, right here. This is the duality, the kind of dichotomy that we see. Although we know that there's in truth no real opposites, right? They're just kind of, everything's a spectrum. Everything is the same coin. There's just different sides of it. Everything's a continuum. And the very next card that we see is a representative of that. This is the Ace of Swords. This is talking about the unity, the point of truth and reality that sits between the pairs of opposites. Well, that's not right. That sits between the pairs of opposites, right? To show us that the real spiritual moment is right between that duality, right between those two extremes, or what seem like opposites. But in truth, there are no opposites. So what does this card symbolize in terms of your concerns? Well, I think that what we're kind of leaning toward is a little bit more logic, right? Because I feel like that's kind of where you started. That's been your general mode of interacting with the world, is through your intellect, your reason, your logic, your thinking function. Okay, so I think that there's this, perhaps a concern that you're not a creative, that you don't have this spontaneous passion, this irrational functioning, this more intuitive, this creative fire. But I don't think that's true. I think that's false, in fact. We see a lot of indication of creativity here, especially this 3. Now, this 3 of Wands could be all of your creative energy and potential. So maybe it is through this work and through this kind of fiery doorway where you will tap into your creative function, your irrational function, your intuitive, instinctual functions, right? And that'll bring us beyond this obstacle. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to just be completely irrational all the time, never think another thought or analyze or have a plan or be logical ever. No, it's just about adding this fire energy onto this air energy, because remember, fire and air, they're really good friends, right? They get along really well. They like to elevate each other, enhance each other. So the more you try to apply your logic to your creativity, as long as you allow that creativity to then do the same to your logic and allow it that spontaneous expression in its own way and blend these two together, then they're both going to just be elevated higher and higher and higher. That could be what the spiritual component of this week really is you tapping into your creativity and trying to expand on that, trying to complement your already very developed rational thinking, logical mind with this creative impulse, this spontaneity, this intuitive expression and function. Okay, so I think that's a large part of your work this week. And I think it's a big concern, and one, honestly, that I can relate to. I've always been kind of a left brain kind of guy, and I've always thought, God, maybe I'm just not creative, because I can't draw, I can't paint. You know what I mean? There's a lot of these stereotypically creative things that I'm not good at. But there's so many ways to be creative, and that, I think, is where your kind of logical mind can come into play and assist with that creative, find new ways of creative expression, because I feel like we're all creative. We all have a bit of this 3 of Wands within us that we just need to tap into so that we can start expressing our creativity. Anyway, maybe I've gone off on a little bit of a tangent, but I see what's coming, in the end of the path of the Serpent is this unified experience, this central sword, this Ace of Swords, which is the truth that is in between the pairs of opposites, which we can know intellectually and rationally, right? It's that sword right there, in between the balances, in between the cups of the scale on that Justice card. And she's holding the truth. The truth lies in the middle, in between the spaces, in between the separateness. And it's the same kind of idea here with the Art or Temperance card, but we don't see it so clearly defined because it's irrational. This is not the logical left brain rational card, right? This is the other end of that continuum, of that spectrum. But that central truth is still here. It's still in this card. We just can't see it so clearly defined because it's the irrational card. So this is kind of what you're striving for, and this is, I think, a realization, a real understanding, a higher, an elevated sense of your own truth, your own reality at the end of all of this energy, right? And again, this could manifest really as your new experience with the job that you're in, a new department, a promotion, a new relationship with someone, a new relationship with this larger organization, because I still think that there's this higher power that you're striving to forge that link to. And this is that connection with that higher power, right? This is, kind of the chakra system that is lighting up all the way to the top, right? With the 1,000-petaled lotus at the very top there, connecting with the divine. So this is activating the energies within you and getting a response from divinity, from whatever this higher power is that we're talking about. And now this can all be brought back down to the mundane realm, the physical realm too, and talking about connections with this larger group of people that you are entering into this relationship with. Again, it could be like a new community, you're moving to a new neighborhood or a new country even, something large, a new business, a new department within your company, anything. New church, a new community organization, a lodge, temple. The list goes on and on and on. But let's look at this confirmation card, because I'm very curious what this is. I love the Antique Anatomy Tarot deck. What could this be? I don't know what I would even expect it to be. I have no guesses, so let's just flip it over. Let's find out what it is. So this is the King of Swords, the Knight of Swords, or the King of Blades. And I think this is going back to this water sign person that we started to talk about. I think it's kind of confirming for me that this very supportive and nurturing environment that you have, there is one particular individual, water sign person, I feel like, who is really an inspiration to you, someone who really motivates you. More so, I think you're in this very nurturing environment, but I think there's one particular person that you really feel inspired by. And they're in some way very important to this work that you're doing, because they have that fire component. The knights are the fiery aspect of the suit that they're in. So this is that fiery aspect of this nurturing water. So that's the watery, the supportive, the nurturing, compassionate environment that inspires you, that sparks your creativity, that starts to stir this Three of Wands deep within you. So I don't know who this person is, but I feel like they're important to your work, and you should recognize them and just the awareness that they're there and that it is an important piece of the puzzle here. I think that's a pretty simple confirmation for this reading. Now we're going to take a look in the extended. If you want to stick around for the extended reading, you can become a member to the channel, and it's a great way to support us here, and you can get access to all of the extended for all of the weekly readings. All right. This was your weekly reading for January 15th through 21st on Dove and Serpent Tarot.